respect the flag. That's all I can say. Alright, we're going to do some honey extracting. I have everything set up here. It's cleaned, so it should be good. Now, a word about honey. Now, if you notice, this basically is, that's where I tore it accidentally. But if you notice, that's pretty much 100% capped. Okay. Now, if you extract honey, if it's not 100% capped, I have to get a good look at it, so I'll just keep it there for a minute. All these are capped. Now, if you start extracting honey, if they're all not capped, then you really have to watch your moisture content of the honey. Okay? You don't want too much moisture in it. The bees cap it when it's the right moisture level. Okay? You can see that there's only just a tiny little area where it's not fully capped off. So moisture-wise, I don't have to worry about it. This one here, well, that's where I accidentally ripped it open. But if you look at this side here, you can see the bottom, or is it the top? Yeah, you can see the bottom there is at 100% capped, but it's also empty. So anyway, you have to watch that because of the moisture content. So you take your, I'm going to have to move this so you can see what I'm doing. You need like an area, a bench, so you can set it up. I have this all set up here, but I want to show you how I decap it. So I got to point the camera down to the floor to do that. So we will do that. First I have to wipe my hands. And no, I'm not going to edit all this out. I do my videos is the way I do them. People don't like it, tough shit. I really don't care. I just do them the way I do them. I don't claim to be a professional, and I am not a professional videographer, okay? So, there you go. Whoops. See that? Look at that angle there. Okay. There's the, there's the pot there. You probably could just lower this down. Alrighty. Move this closer, I suppose. This tripod needs some Loctite on it. Okay. Now they make a electric decapping knife. This one here is just the manual one. Okay. You can see it's serrated. It's not really sharp because all you're doing is cutting the caps off of there. This works just fine. You can get a heated one if you want, but why? They also make a decapping fork, which I could show you that, but it's in the house. So anyway, they make a decapping fork too that you dig in and you slide it down and it does it. This works just as good to me. So, all right. I already have one frame in here. Now the thing is move this over. There's no way not to make a mess. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decap both sides, hopefully here. Okay, I don't know how, well, I don't have it. The lens flipped over. So you can kind of see, right? Yeah, you can kind of see. This just guides right along the surface. And all you're really doing, keeping it at an angle, so you can see it's just slicing it right off without slicing into the wood. Because the bees fill it to a certain point, and you can see, there you go. You don't have to worry about getting it all off of here, because that's what the strainer is for. Do the same thing here. And the little bit of wax you're taking with it, hopefully you can see that, isn't really going to hurt anything. Because it's not going to go into it anyway. So I'm not worried about scraping all this off, because it will come off. Now, I will show you, there could be professionals out there that do this for a living, and they could be like, oh, no, you want to do it this way, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I put the frames in. Try not to get everything sticky, of course. Okay. Alrighty. Not sure how well you can see inside there. Alright, you know what? Why don't we just take the camera and go like that. There we go. I don't want to take the camera off the tripod because it'll get all sticky. Now, if you notice, the small end goes inward and the wider end goes outward. Okay. This has a tab on it, as you can see. Okay. So that will slide in to the bottom there. You probably can't see that, it's dark in there, but it'll fit down into the slot down here. Okay. Well, it's basically the bottom wheel's just like this one here, so that the rib or lip, whatever you want to call it, will fit into there. And when you start spinning this, it's not going anywhere. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decap the rest, put them in here, and then I'll start filming again. So I just want to make sure, and there's no way to do this basically without making a sticky mess. It is honey, and it is sticky. So you're going to make a mess. Everything's going to be sticky. I have a wet rag that I have. Normally you would have, you could use a pot of water. I don't have the water ran out here yet, but I will be running water out here, and there's going to be a sink and everything, hot and cold water, so you'll be able to wash up. So anyway, I'm going to do the rest of the frames. Like this holds 6 at a time. So it's a centrifugal force as you're spinning it. What's nice too, well, I'm not going to show that right now. All right, just shut up and pause. Okay, you can notice I have 6 frames loaded. Okay. This should all be good. I can hear the honey dropping already. I believe it looks like they're all in there. This one, maybe not. Yeah, that's all in there. But anyway, they're like super sticky. I don't think this one here is sitting down all the way. I might just be on the lip of it. I can't really see down in there. But anyway, I have 6 frames. Now, you hear the floor is already getting sticky. There's Kosh. Got to have a cat in it. Okay. Now, what's nice about this handle, okay, you see how it just free floats, free spins, without spinning it? That's so when you start to crank it, and you stop cranking, it'll still spin. The handle won't come around and whack you. So that's a very good design. Now, the other thing is this gate valve here. You want that open, okay? That is a must, because if not, the honey can build up. Well, it'll empty these. It'll take a lot of honey to fill it up to that point. But, yeah, it'll take a lot of honey to fill up to that point. So I could actually have it closed until it reaches that point. But anyway, you have the gate valve open because if you get enough honey in there, it'll start dragging. And you don't want that. This is a double strainer. The top strainer obviously gets those big chunks out, and then there's an inner strainer also. But right now, I'm not going to have the gate valve open because you're not going to get, it's going to take a lot to fill this. Okay, now I'm going to make an attempt because you don't use it with it open. But you can see how it spins, and centrifugal force, okay, will throw the honey against the sides of that, and it'll run down. Okay, I'm not going to have it open while I'm doing it, you know, and it doesn't really take that much, you know, to get it going fast. You start out slow like that, and then you pick up speed. Okay, You have to get it going pretty good, depending on how thick the honey is. So right now I gotta close the lid, but you can see it doesn't really take that much of a spin on the handle, but start out slow and then just slowly increase your speed, because you can see how she starts to hop around. So I'm going to cut it because I have to hold it down because I don't have it screwed down or anything yet. So I'm going to cut this while I'm spinning it. You know what? I should probably turn the fan off so you can hear me. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to do any more right now, so I'll pick this up. I got to get it mounted. It's too hard to hold it in place. I'm getting way too much hop, so I got to get it mounted. So instead of mounting it, yeah, there you go. Instead of mounting it on 3/4 inch plywood or OSB, because that you could stand on, and that would work good for holding it down. But what I may wind up doing is fasten it right to the concrete. I can't do it in this part of the garage because this has in-floor heating. And the acres I want to use are going to go right down, way down into the concrete so it doesn't bust loose. So what I'm going to do is right here, there's really nothing going to go here because you got to keep it open for the panel there that isn't quite completely wired because I don't have the high voltage ran out here yet. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and fasten it right down to the floor, to the concrete. Still debating whether to do that or to mount it to 3/4 inch OSB. If I mount it to OSB, then I literally could put my weight on it to help hold it down, but the problem with that is the weight of me would be on one part of it and the back part would still shake. So more than likely I'm going to use the opening in the legs is 1/2 inch diameter. I have concrete acres here. They're rated 1/2 inch is the wedge size, but the bolt size isn't. It's smaller than that, so you have to remember that. So if you run out and you want to anchor it to concrete and you want to run out and get it, just make sure that you get the right size. You don't want any play. You want it to fit the size of the opening in the legs, to be honest with you, the feet rather. Yeah, it's got to be anchored down. Plywood would work, but I would almost still have to anchor it down. This way here, I can anchor it to the floor. There, it'll be out of the way. It won't be in the way of anything. So when I want to take it off and put it outside, let the bees get in there and clean all the residue honey off, they'll be able to do it. So anyway, I'll pick this back up after I do that, like tomorrow. All right. Now one thing I did forget to mention, see how it's got a pre-dent in it? And the box was fine. And so you can see that's a pretty good dent. It looks like the weld held though. So it comes pre-dented. You know, so for the money spent, you get a pre-dented. Anyway, I mounted it to a pallet temporarily. I'll get a shot of it in action. The pallet doesn't work too bad. I'm still going to mount it to the concrete. But anyway, I wanted to get a shot of the pre-dent, which is pretty cool. I already did 6 frames. So I will. You can see that. Well, I'll bring one up to the camera, so let me pause it. Alright, yeah, to keep this door open, because it's a pain, because it keeps closing, it's spring loaded, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. I just bent a piece of aluminum, you know, that I could just fits in on top of the back part here, where your gear cover is. Flip it over like that, keeps it open. Small bungee cord would do the trick. But anyway, because it keeps closing, so it's a pain in the ass. Now, generally speaking, you can see basically it pulled probably 90+% of the honey out of it. I mean, part of it, like this part here where I didn't cut the, I didn't decap it. There's still honey in that, but you can see it does get the majority of the honey out of it. And Some of them are better than others. See how this, I'll pull another one, see how this one looks. Now this one here, you can see this one here is really good. You can see it's empty. They're a lot lighter now, because each one of these weighed roughly 3.5 pounds. Then what I'm going to do is, because obviously there's still small bits of honey on it, so I won't put these back on the hives until next spring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in an empty super and take it back out there and just put it on one of the hives, and the bees will clean all the honey off this. So why waste it? You don't want to leave it on there. I mean, they'll clean it to where there's nothing left. I mean, they are good at it. The caps, when they clean the caps, you let you scrape off of these. There's still quite a bit of honey on them, and it's still got some weight to it. They clean those out to where it's basically just a powder left. So I'm going to load the... anyway, so yeah, it works pretty good. I'm going to load the next batch, and then I'll film again. You can see how much movement it has. So, yeah. I've got her all loaded. I've got her all loaded for the second batch. So I did 6 frames. This is another 6, so it's 12. And then I have 2 more frames. And when you start, I wipe my hands off continuously, because I don't want to get everything sticky. So keep in mind this is on a pallet, so I will get some more bounce because of it being on a pallet. It's not as solid of a surface, but I will be mounting it in the concrete for next year. But start out slow, okay? And then just slowly increase your speed. And you can see how it just starts to hop around. And, but, a pallet isn't as strong. I want to show you this real quick. There's actually quite a bit of weight in this here. There's a lot of honey in this, as you can see. But what I'll wind up doing is I'm going to put this out on top of the beehives. And by tomorrow, this will all just be, you'll be able to tip it over and just dump it. I mean, that's how good the bees are at clearing the honey. They don't waste anything. And being 4 hives out there, and you're thinking, wow, man, there's probably, a pound of honey in there at least. Probably is. But I'm not concerned about it, simply because it's not going to go to waste, because the bees obviously will chow on it. Now, if I had an extra person standing on the other end of the pallet, it would hold it more steady. Yeah, it comes pre-squeaked and pre-dented. People's biggest gripe on these things is basically how much they hop around. But you figure it's not a balanced load. I have 6 frames in there, okay? So you'll want to do even numbers, 6, 4, or 8. Odd numbers, you'll get more hop out of it. I mean, technically you can do 3 if you load it right. But you can see how it really starts to hop around. Part of that is the pallet, because I've got it screwed to the crossboards of it, so it's not as solid. But like I say, I'm going to fasten it to the floor, but I didn't have the right drill bit. I have the acres for it, but I don't have the right drill bit. If you're not leaning on it, you can see how it really hops around. But like I say, a big part of that's the pallet, because the pallet is not fitting flush to the floor. You think it would, because to be honest with you, this pallet had concrete on it, bags of concrete, like 8 bags of concrete on it. So the pallet should be level. Well, I know the concrete's level, I know that for sure. But the pallet was sitting outside for a while, so it'll probably warp in the weather. Like I say, it's it's nice because it still spins, but the handle floats. So that's really, so you don't have a handle whipping around where it'll snap your wrist or whatever, or smack you. I don't know what the RPM on the electric ones are, but I said, you know what, I can hand crank it. You know, if you knew what the RPM was on the electric ones, you could probably take a, you could probably take a nice size drill, which I do have, put it on the end of the shaft and do it yourself. Or you could probably, more than likely, you could probably buy the motor for it. It's already pre-drilled and it has the mounts on it for a motor. Well, like I say, cranking is just fine. You know. Well, you do it left-handed too. You can see the dust starting to hop around quite a bit. You know, and no matter what, you're going to have a sticky mess. You know, there's no way around that. You know, it's honey. My knife is all covered. You know, it drips on the floor. The outside of this is pretty clean. I'm almost to the point where I'm going to have to drain it. They recommend that you have the tap open so it continuously drains out. The reason I didn't do that, well, I don't really have a reason. No, because the canister that I'm using, I have to run all of it through a filter because there's some caps in it. Because I was trying to uncap it using the strainer, and kind of a pain in the ass. But anyway, now I have a container that I use, and I have the non-skid. You can buy this at any Joann Fabrics or whatever. It's a non-skid type material, so that works perfect. So when you're decapping in a container, the tray I'm using, the tray will not move if this is underneath it. It holds it good and tight. So I want to throw that in there. And so anyway, looks like we're, yeah, now if you take a look, I'll still spin it a little bit more, but why bore you? You can see, for the most part, you can see up there how empty. I mean, there's still some in it, but you can see that's pretty much empty. This is a lot lighter than what it was. Now, the other ones I took areas like that, where that aren't quite uncapped, and I went ahead and sliced the caps off of it. You know, and I normally do that with each one. I'll pull each frame out and make sure they're each frame is pretty well decapped, which most of these are. Now this frame is darker. You're like, oh my god, why is it black? Because the foundation is black. That's the only reason. Yeah, this one's pretty clear. But anyway, so it really does a good job. It doesn't really take that long. I have 2 more frames to do, so that worked out good. So anyway, I will cut this, and I'm going to get a shot when I start draining the honey, the gold, into the pan, but I got to clean the pot. I'm going to get a shot of that also, so you can see it flowing out of here. So, there you go. I don't have a remote control for the camera, so sorry. Okay, I brought the pot out here, so they would clean it out. You can see they're in there chowing on it. I'm not sure what that big guy is there. I know it's not one of my bees. Some of them are probably stuck there. They're going to wind up drowning. But anyway, I put that out there so they could clear out the honey. Oh, that's it could be one of those mud hornets. It almost looks like. But anyway, you can see they're going to clean that up, and I'm going to use that to straighten the honey. And then these guys are birding again because it's so freaking hot in the hive. So you can see they're birding pretty. Oh, but anyway, it's not why I came out here. there's the, man, I gotta do some weeding. I haven't had a chance to work on the garden in a while. But you can see how they're, that's the empty super that I brought out. And you can see how they're swarming on it. They're clearing all the extra honey off of it. So they're taking the honey, they're buzzing all around me. They're taking the honey off of there and they're bringing it into their hives. Some of those bees may be from another hive somewhere else. I'm not really sure, but you can see how they're definitely, yeah, they're buzzing all over around me. Oh my God, yeah, I can see them all buzzing around. Yeah, I'm guessing these aren't all my bees. Yeah, I'm looking up towards the sky here and you can see them. They're buzzing all over the place. So they might be from some other hive somewhere else, I don't know. But anyway, you can see they're cleaning all the honey off that. So by tonight they'll have that clear. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that. And I'm going to post this video. If you like it, hit the like button. If you don't like it, fine. Comments, fine. No comment, fine. Hit the little bee in the corner if you want to subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when there's new videos uploaded. Would you guys quit buzzing me? So anyway, yeah. And then I'll do another video of straining the honey and jarring it and everything. So I just wanted to show you how quick they started swarming that. It's only been out here about 30 minutes. And yeah, I'm not sure if those are all my bees or not. Some of them could be coming from, because I'm looking up at the sky here, man, and there's bees buzzing everywhere. Holy shit. Yeah. So anyway, there you go.